everybody? What's crack-a-lackin'? What is crack-a-tack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lackin'? What is going on? I hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody is doing what they want to do today. Hope everybody's got plans for a good weekend. And I really do hope that everybody is going to be good. So let me just start with this, guys. I want to say thanks to everybody that's been supporting lately. It means everything to me, guys. It means the world to me and my family and my wife. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Anybody that I did a members only stream yesterday. We had we had a pretty good time in there. We keep it very laid back in there, guys. It's nothing like serious. Now, if there's something serious going on, obviously I'll talk about it. But I did give away some cards yesterday. We did it in a certain way. I'm going to see if it works with that, and then I'm going to bring it here. And we did a random number generator, and the way I did it may or may not work. I just want to make it as fair as possible so you guys can get these really, really cool cards. Honestly, while I was live yesterday during members only, I didn't realize how cool the cards I had were until I started looking at them on the internet and looking at the inside, like the face card, not the back of the card, but like the kings, queens, and the numbers, clubs, all that stuff. Some of them are really, really cool. So I just want to put that out there. All right, guys, please hit the like, share, and subscribe, that kind of thing. And again, guys, if you want to become a member, please do. It's I keep the membership stuff down there on the low end of things. I think it's $4 if you get the lowest one, and the highest one I got is $20. I don't do anything above that. It's not, I understand people are coming out of their own pocket and stuff, and people work hard for that, and I don't want to take advantage. So if you want to support more than that, you can super chat, stuff like that, or gifting memberships is a really good way. Because right now we have like almost 300 members, and and it's like a family over there. It really is. Even though we're a family here, it's just more laid back, I guess. The connection is more like right there. You know what I mean? I don't have to concentrate on the space weather at all. I can just do what we're doing. We're going to have some fun. I'm planning on doing some there's these things you can, these things. That's my redneck coming out, guys. Sorry. Hillbilly, you know what I'm saying? If Hilly's in here, he'll understand. Hey, JJ, ain't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Anyway, see, there I go squirreling. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on, but we're more laid back over there. Gifted memberships is a really good way to do it. And Hermit, thank you so much for that. Again, very generous super chat. $100. I don't have the widget turned on right now. I can't highlight names. I'm trying to keep my bandwidth down, so I'm sure the signal strength is strong. I don't want to mess up the live stream. So, how is the audio, guys? I did make some adjustments, and I don't think it's loud now. It was sounding very tinny, and I had on this one computer I actually had it turned up to 200%. That's a lot of a boost, and that's why it was doing it, I think. So anyway, we're going to get into this now. We're going to talk about a subject here that is very, very man. It's kind of crazy, and we'll get into it in just a second. But I want to show you what's currently going on first. Okay? Oh, cool. Thank you, guys. If you guys ever hear anything audio or see something weird on my video, please just say it. I take criticism and I take what you guys say seriously, because I want it to be the best you guys can see and get. If this isn't entertaining, or at least like easy to understand and see, people won't watch. And I get it. I try to make this, space weather as entertaining as I can. And most of the time I don't have to try very hard, because, really it's entertaining when you're looking at what's going on. So anyway, let's just jump into what's actually happening right now. We're G2 storm. Okay. And R2 radio blackout right now. Okay, this is another thing I hit live, and boom, we got hit with a flare. If Trish is in here, she's going to know what I'm talking about. Hey, Gunslinger. Loud can always be turned down. Hard to turn. Yes. So we do keep, that's a good point, Gunslinger. We do keep it on the loud end, but I don't want it so loud that you're hearing distortion. So even, if I've got it up really loud on my end and it's too loud, no matter how low you bring your volume, you're still going to hear that distortion. So what I do is I take it to where that distortion goes away and I stop. And it's still going to be on the loud end because you guys can turn it down. If it's too quiet, I can't turn you up. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and that's a very good point. Thank you, Gunslinger, for saying that. But again, guys, we just got hit with another flare. Now, I've been talking about this baseline, right? X-ray. So we got our X-ray. We're hanging right around the C range. But if you notice, it's even tailed off even more down further. Our base was here during this flare. It's lower now. So this most likely may have come in at R3. Okay? It probably would have if we had a few more sunspots facing us right now producing X-ray. Right now, we had a very quiet day until this happened. There was not a whole lot going on in the sun today. And then when I got over here and was looking at it, we got hit with an unforecasted G2 level storm. Now, I'm saying G2, but we actually got into G3 range for a minute. Okay, so we'll take a look at that here in just a second. But that was not forecasted at all. So when that happens, we got to go back in time and try to figure out where that came from. Right? What hit us that they didn't expect to hit us? I didn't expect to see anything hitting us today. I don't think anybody actually did. So, and also on the Aurora end of things, this is something that we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth when I get there. But that is, what's going on with that is amazing. And there's going to be a lot of argument on both sides of that. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I do not participate in that. I will show you what's going on and report what's happening. And I also want to say thank you to Gene. If it's Gene or Jean Ann, I can't remember. From Rocky Mountain State Park in East Tennessee. She's the one, that's her photograph from the 10th. Okay, the Aurora on my, well, actually, I can just do this for you. Hold on one second. Can you guys see that? I think you can. Wouldn't that, I didn't get to see this with my own eyes. Okay? So I just want to point that out and give her credit for that. Thank you for sending that to me. I'm going to be showing Ricky's photographs here in a little while also. She got some really good ones. I showed you guys some from Canada. Ricky has some from Colorado. This is Tennessee. So, we got them all over the place, guys. So that's what I'm trying to say. It was an amazing thing. It really, truly was. Okay? So thank you, Jane, for sending that to me. It's from East Tennessee. So just so you guys understand that, that's where it came from. I don't use people's last name for obvious reasons. So even if they ask me to, I don't. Okay? That's just something I'm not comfortable doing. Okay. So the storm here, guys, I think it came from this. Okay? Now, before I run this model, I want to take you over here to the HP. Because you can see this indice here, guys, is the same, basically the same indice, just in a different time frame as this. Okay? This is the KP. So, it corresponds with geomagnetic storm levels. A 5 is where storm levels start. That's G1, G2, G3, onward and upward, right? Now, when we're talking about this, it's just like a thunderstorm warning system. So obviously, the higher it goes, the more intense it's going to be. And but I was turned on to this model. I can't remember who actually used this and sent it over to me, but I've been using it ever since. This is a German. I think I might have even found it myself because I was just searching, just messing around on the internet. But this is the HP. Now, this is a 30-minute plot point, and again, this over here is a 3-hour average. Okay, so we get one reading one plot point of a 3-hour average. And it's not a bad way to do it. I'm not saying that at all, because it does give you a better overall how powerful this thing was, right? But if you want to know exactly how high its highest point was, it's better to go here. And the reason why, because it's a shorter amount of time where they get their average from. Okay? There's more points here. So instead of getting a 3-hour average, we're getting a 30-minute. But you can see how this actually got to G3 level. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, in this instance, not a whole heck of a lot. Okay? And let me just point that out. It just doesn't. Now, the other day when we were in the big storm and it got to 11.5 off of this chart, and it went into 10.5 multiple times, that is a little different. Okay? Because when we're already getting smacked with this stuff, and then all of a sudden you get this really big blast like that, that's one of the biggest reasons we got into G5 storming. Okay? We didn't start there. We started at like a G4 that hung out there for a second till about the time that 11.5 reading hit. And when that hit, everything changed. So it rung our bells, what happened. And our magnetic field just was not able to, deflect everything. And that's what we would, again, we would expect that. We were all, a lot of us were talking about that. I was stopping short of a G5 on that whole situation because I was not trying to scare people. And I knew if we got into G5 situation, it was not going to be a grid down situation. So I wasn't pushing that. I mentioned it and I gave you guys my opinion, but I'm not going to push that off onto somebody because it scares people. It simply just scares people. Okay? So what I do is, guys, when we get hit with something like this, today's the 17th, right? I start at 3 days back because that's about, usually on average, that's about when these geomagnetic storms will hit once they leave the sun. And it just so happens that the 14th here was very, very active. And when I say very active, I'm not kidding. We had 6 eruptions this day. Okay? And they're significant eruptions. Now, none of them were coming directly at us from what we could see. Okay? So, just let me say that. Now, I'm going to reverse that. That's going backwards, by the way. There's also some things about this storm that I may talk about a little bit, too. The G5 storm we got hit with. I went back and looked at the 2017 and the 2003 storms we had. And there were some things leading up to all these events that were very similar. And I just want to point them out to you so you guys get to see them. We had sundivers basically at the same time. The imager, guys, see this little anomaly we see right about there? You see that, how it kind of shot across that direction? On all of those storms, we seen the same distortion from the same angle. If they were in a different angle or something, I probably wouldn't even really care about it. But these were all from the same kinds of angle. The anomalies on the camera. So, we're talking 20 years apart here, guys. Storm conditions that are very close to what we've seen. From eruptions that were pretty close to that, though they were all pretty close as far as the way they came off the sun. Now, I will say the Halloween storm and even the 2017 storm, it gave us a bigger whiteout, which is a radiation storm. We didn't get that with this one, but yet we've seen massive Aurora effects everywhere. So it was a little challenging to try to wrap our brain around all that. But anyway, so what we're getting hit with right now? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Pick one. Okay? Let me just explain that. I'm going to pause it because you see all these eruptions. Guys, this is a 24-hour loop on the 14th. So, any one of these, this is a black occulter disc that's on the camera. It's there to block the main part of the light of the sun. When that happens, and we can't get an image without it. It just gets oversaturated with light. Okay? And the camera can't handle it. The imager can't handle it. By the way, this satellite, I forgot to show you where it was at. Sorry. Here is the Earth. The satellite's right out in front of Earth, about 1 million miles closer to the sun. It's from our perspective, okay? And it stays in that exact position right out in front of us. It orbits the sun at roughly 365 days, just like we do, okay? So it keeps it from our perspective. But if you see the halo signatures around this thing, and what I'm talking about is when you see the energy or the plasma, in this case, poking around this whole edge, right? I'm going to pause it so we can get a better look at this. Actually, I'm going to back that up. So you can kind of even see that one, okay? Those are two eruptions. I showed you guys this because we seen an X flare here and an X flare over here at the same time. Well, really close to the same time frame. So any of those eruptions could have, I don't think it was this one though. This is the one that gave us the radiation storm. Okay, it might not have been that in particular one because there was another one, a couple of them on that side from the sunspot that really helped produce the G5 storm. But I do think this day, the 14th, is why we're seeing this unforecasted, unexpected, fairly significant solar storm hitting Earth right now. Okay, this is not something that I wasn't expecting to even do this part tonight. Okay, I was going to come here and talk about Aurora and give you a quick little space weather update. But when this stuff happens and we don't see it coming, which isn't necessarily out of the ordinary either. Okay, I want to make sure that we understand that. We get hit with what we call stealth solar storms all the time. And it simply means that something happened and we didn't catch it. Now, a lot of times when that happens, it's because it's directly behind this occulter disk. We can't see it. Okay, obviously there's other satellites we go to, SDO, which is in this right here. It's extreme ultraviolet. So when we come here, sometimes it's even hard to see it here because the sun, anything in your strike zone, right here, the sun's the background, right? So with the sun being the background, it acts as camouflage to our eyes. We don't have a contrasting color like black to see it when it erupts over here, right? So that's why we get these stealthy solar storms, and it's also why we shouldn't just look at the model, the visual. We should also look at the data, and I don't tend to dwell on showing you guys the raw data. I do show you guys the raw data in the essence of the Discover graph, right? The solar wind conditions. And so I'm going to take you right there right now. And this right here is why we are seeing a storm. Look at this. -6 is what we look for as a threshold on the BZ. That's our magnetic positioning, basically, polarity. And I'm not going to go into exactly how that's all done. But basically it puts our magnetic field and everything in a position to where we can couple with all this stuff really well. It draws it in on our poles, basically. Now, if we're in the positive on the BZ, and this is the red line, if we're in the positive, it'll deflect. But you can just simply remember, -6 on the BZ means, hey, anything hits us, we're probably going to get at least a little bit of a geomagnetic storm. Or at least an uptick. We may not get the storm level, but it's going to be a little bit more intense than what it would have been without that, okay? Now, they'll highlight this, okay? They'll highlight this in purple every time over here. And I don't like to stay on that graph because it does bore people. You know, looking at a graph is boring, guys. So I'm just going to say that. Now, you can see when this started happening. It started happening right around 12, maybe 1 o'clock UTC. Okay, just after lunchtime, noon, right? Everything started moving. So you knew something was happening. The BZs went south, right? Negative. The phi angle flipped, which is the actual polarity of the solar wind. Okay? Remember what solar wind is. It's highly charged particles, right? What the key word there is charge. That means it has a negative and a positive, and it can flip. It flips often. Look, here in just one day, one flip, small flip there, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it does it all the time. So, and sometimes that itself can actually put you in the geomagnetic storm if it's hard enough. But that ain't what happened here. I do think, you know, and then we get the density increase, then we get the speed increase, which was not that much. 300 to 500 is what we consider normal on kilometers per second. Density is 4. 4 is what we consider normal. Now you got temperature here, right? I don't usually go there a whole lot because it does fluctuate depending on what's going on. It is an important thing to look at during certain situations. Well, almost every situation I look at it, but we tend to talk about these main key points here. So that's what I'll say. Now, so I do think that one of these eruptions this date on the 14th is what caused this unexpected, or unforecasted, I should say. That's probably a better word to use. Because I don't think any time this stuff happens is really completely unexpected, right? I wasn't shocked to see this. I wasn't expecting to see it. But anytime you have these big eruptions 6 times in one day, and the majority of them were on the front side of the sun facing us. So you have a chance there. And I already went over some of this stuff with you guys anyway with the, I went here, and I went to the 211. Remember here on the 211, guys, when this thing erupts, when we see an eruption, you'll get that, you'll be able to see a shock wave go across the sun. And if it reaches out, love you, kid. Have a good day, buddy. Sorry, guys, that was my son. He's heading off to work. He works the night shift. He's a hard worker, guys. So anyway, so when you get an eruption like over here, and you see the corona, the atmosphere of the sun, ripple all the way across over here, you can pretty much bet it has an Earth-directed component of some sort. Okay? Whatever that is. So I show you guys that often. Now, I haven't actually looked, and because this just happened, this flare here. So I don't even know where it came from. I don't know what part of the sun it came from yet. We're going to look at that together right here. Okay? So let me just grab the slide bar. This is the 131 angstrom. Again, a part of the light spectrum we cannot see with our eyes. They put a filter on it so we get an image. But there it is. And that's exactly where I would have expected it to come from. Guys, this thing is not a joke. I really want to stress that. Okay? I'm not trying to entice any kind of fear or unnecessary whatever here. This is something that I was talking about 2 days ago that this is the one we're going to have to watch. Right? This is the one that already gave us an X 8.9 flare. And it looked to be partially occulted from the sun. We didn't get all the X-ray from it. And now it's basically giving us X flares again. So what did that come in at? It didn't quite get the X flare, okay? But it's a high M class flare. So just keep that in mind. Now, why does that even matter, right? Well, it matters because usually with a stronger flare, especially a long duration one, I'm not saying that this is long duration. It doesn't look like it died off though yet. Completely. But the longer they hang on, the more chances they have of sending a big CME our way. Right? Because remember, flares and CMEs are different. So, yeah. So you can see that. I just wanted to show you guys that. And this most definitely did produce a CME. Okay, you see how this opens up right here? That's one of those arches that we see. It's a magnetic connection line. And it gets broke as it erupts out. Watch what happens right there. Oops. Okay, so let me just do this. See how it erupts right there? You can see the plasma erupting from the surface. Okay? So I just want you guys to understand that did produce the CME. And I can't say for certain if we're going to see anything from that yet. It's too early. Even if this shows us a shock wave, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to get hit with it. I simply don't have enough data to confirm any of that. What I can do, first thing I need to do is, update that. bring us to our most, because I had this all set up and I wanted to, let's do it like this. I had it all set up and then that flare happened right as I was going live. So anyway, we're going to be looking over here where that erupted off at, okay? And what we're going to look for, we're going to see the flare, right? So let's see what we get. Okay, so this is, actually I'm glad this kind of happened because we're going to be able to see the shockwave itself. I'm going to run it faster because you see the shockwave better that way, okay? So watch as I go forward here. Now I'm going to go forward, and you're not going to really see the flare itself because this particular gas that it's showing you here on the 211 doesn't really show a whole lot of that bright X-ray stuff, okay? So anyway, so you can definitely see how that did ripple off probably about right here. So there is a chance that we may get a glancing blow from that, in my opinion, just from the initial look here, okay? Again, I'm not going to say it's 100% my opinion on that because I just don't have enough data to say that, okay? And also, by the way, anybody that's kind of new to the channel, understand that I usually keep this here. This is solar minimum. This is back in 2020. All these images here. I keep them there for reference for everybody. We're either in solar maximum or we're headed right to it, okay? So you can see how much activity the difference is. And this is why we talk about the sun cycle so much. So the activity is just night and day. And no pun intended, I guess. Yeah, I didn't even mean for that to come out like that, but yeah. True that, right, huh? Ain't that what the kids say? True that. True that. That's lit. Anyway. Just saying. Cracking me up. My wife come home from work and said that the other day. True that. And she was serious. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you using that word for? So who you been working around? You been working around some younger kids? What's going on with that? But yeah. So, yeah. True that. Just kidding, guy. No, that's actually the truth. But, so yeah, so that solar storm did hit. And that's what we got going on right now. And I don't think that that's I do think it came from this, the 14th. And again, guys, I'll show you these eruptions. I'm not going to pick one of them because it could have been any of those, honestly. Anything that was on this side of the sun that erupts that hard and that big, as far as a span, yeah. Because also, guys, they can be steered by coronal holes. Remember, we're talking about magnetics, okay? So if a coronal hole opens up, like right here, you see this coronal hole? If there was an eruption close to that, the polarities there may influence the CME enough to either pull it one direction or push it another. It just depends on the magnetics. So that does make it hard to forecast. And 93 million miles away, at least that's what accepted science is, and I know there's people out there that disagree with that, and that's okay. I'm not here to discuss that. I'm just saying, I think the sun is 93 million miles away. That's just my opinion. But I don't get on people or I don't judge people that don't believe that. So, and it is what it is. So I'm going to show you what I'm showing you here, and that's how it is. How I'm going to put it out there for you guys. Okay, so now back to this. Okay, this is a very sticky subject right now. Okay, this Aurora. Let me just say this. I'm going to go ahead and transfer back over to the other screen real quick. Guys, I'm a one-man show, by the way. I'm clicking buttons left, right, and all around. If anybody's super chatting or becoming members, I haven't even had a chance to see that. It's no big deal if you. I'm just saying I haven't been able to shout you out if you did that. But thank you for all those that do. Hey, Ron, thank you, buddy, for all the gifted memberships you've given so far, brother. Jeremy, same thing. Everybody out there, 5G. I always forget people. Full of Hope. Deep Quake Paul. I mean, there's so many of you guys. We're almost at 300 subscribers, guys. 300 members. and it's growing, and we're having some fun over there. So just so you know. Okay, now, I want you guys to do me a favor. Give me a roll call in the chat while I get this ready for you guys. Can we do that? Because I am real close to just showing you. I want to show you this before I show you the Aurora stuff. Okay, this is our magnetosphere. Give me a roll call as I talk about this. This is our bow shock. Okay, it's the first point of contact from any space weather and our magnetic field in the front. Okay, during harder hits, it can get behind the satellite line. That's what this is. Now, let me give a shout out to my Aussies. This is where this model comes from. This is an Australian model. Not a whole lot of people is going to show you guys this model. For the life of me, I don't know why. It is so simple to understand. It is way more simple, even though it's not as dramatic as this visual here. This is what you get when you come over here to NOAA, and I think it's good to have both. Okay, just let me say that first and foremost. This does give us a more three-dimensional look of what's actually going on. Okay, but this gives us everything we need in a very simple thing to see. Camp Krusty, huh? Wisconsin, Virginia, Texas. Love it, baby. Love it. There you go, Kathy. Aloha. Guess where she's from. Central Texas, East Tennessee. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. South Dakota, Arkansas, Nevada. G2 got a membership. Heck yeah. Rebecca got one. Arlene got one. Pink Butterfly got one. The guy. That's right. He is the guy. Got one. Oh, yeah, baby. Woo-hoo. Northern Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. The noise in Illinois. Heck yeah. Yeah, I got a link. It's in my description box, Broken Fish. Broke Fish. Sorry. Westchester, Virginia. Yeah, true that, Cat. True that. Rhode Island, Indiana. You're my neighbor, S. Nort. IG, South Cal, baby. I love that emoji, Aaron. Oregon, Australia. Heck yeah. See, we're in Adelia's neck of the woods right now. Nevada, Pennsylvania, Central Texas, Virginia again. Chattanooga, baby. Heck yeah. Hey, I love Ruby Falls, by the way. Hey, Aaron, you'll know what I'm talking about there. Lookout Point and everything. They got that aquarium down there too. That's really, really cool. They actually added on, I think. Got a whole nother building and everything. I was just down there last year. Ohio, baby. Ohio. That's right. PCB, Florida, baby. All right. West Virginia, Central Illinois. Okay. Thanks for the roll call, guys. And thanks for the gift of memberships, Aaron. You are the best. Guys, if you've never seen the Key and Pill skit, go look at it. Aaron. Aaron. My wife is coming in here just to bug me. I know that's what's going on. Why are you in here? Just kidding. She says, thanks for everything, guys. All the stuff you've been helping my family with. It really is. It's with the support here on the channel. Hey, Aaron, thank you. She says, thank you. Okay, so we got the magnetosphere here. And again, this is a more complicated one, right? But it does give us a really good visual aid to show people what's actually going on and how intense things can be. Most people understand what pressure is, right? So that's why I kind of go straight to this. This is magnetic pressure on our planet. Seeking Truth, thank you. Another 5 gifted memberships. Awesome. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Who got those? Let's see here. Let's figure that out. I don't want to... Mary Bryant, Steve Canyon, Tom Patterson, Mama J. There you go, Mama J got one. Leslie Lindsay. Oh, say thank you to Seeking Truth. Thank you, Seeking Truth. Appreciate you. All right, guys. So, yeah, we understand magnetic pressure. And so when we get hit with stuff, it increases the pressure here magnetically, right? We're talking about our magnetic field, not our actually atmosphere. Okay? So our magnetic field reaches out further and it can kind of keep stuff from getting into our atmosphere, right? Now, with that being said, energy in means energy out, guys. And when you see the magnetic lines get compressed, and this is where I like to go to, shout out to my Aussies again, here, because we get a very clear line of where that compression goes into, right? When this gets compressed, so do those magnetic field lines. So when that's happening, it really puts our magnetic field under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And when that happens, we can get breaks in our magnetic field, cracks. They'll open up and we'll see aurora in some crazy places that you just really wouldn't think you would see, right? And that can happen during very low conditions. From time to time, it does. But I have to say, last year we broke aurora records. We see aurora down in places more times than we ever have far south. Then it broke records. They were writing articles, reporting on it everywhere. Okay? Now the argument comes in, what's causing all that, right? I'm not really here to talk about an argument. I'm here to show you the data. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what's actually happening and what everybody is talking about. My opinion, guys, frankly, in this instance, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. It doesn't. It only matters what your opinion is. Because that's why I nowcast. It doesn't matter to you what I actually, would really believe. If you want my opinion and you ask, I usually tell it. If I think it's going to cause drama, I'll just kind of not answer it. I'll tell you, no, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'm honest about that stuff. I'm transparent about all of it. But this right here is Dr. Tony Phillips' website, okay? This is spaceweather.com. And yes, this link is in my description. You guys can look at it, anytime you want. The link is there. So, what are we talking about here, guys? We've seen aurora in New Caledonia. Okay, I believe that was at the 17-degree latitude line. This has never happened before in this part of the world. At least it's never been reported. So that obviously sparks conversation. Okay, so why did this happen? Okay, well, we know that it came from a G5 storm, right? We know because it happened, right? Now, there is, and I don't usually show you guys these, the images and stuff here, but I'm going to in this instance because it's kind of hard to understand unless I do. But please go over here to Dr. Tony Phillips' website, spaceweather.com, and check this out, please. They do all the work over there. Please give him some traffic. But even this graph, in some ways, is hard to understand, okay? So I'm going to kind of keep it simple. And I'm going to tell you that we've never seen aurora in that part of the Earth, on that part of the planet. Now, I don't know, what people thought, if it was impossible, or if they thought that it was just so highly unlikely it would take like a micronova or something to do that, to see those kinds of conditions here. When in reality, a micronova would probably just take our atmosphere and just rip it right off. So you wouldn't have to worry about seeing any of that. But, yeah. So this takes it back, everybody starts here. 1859 Carrington event, right? 1837 is when our first commercial telegraph lines were there. 1837. 1859, we see the Carrington event. This is one of the reasons why this was such a big deal. And I'm pointing that out because before we had commercial telegraph lines, nobody had telegraph equipment, right? So we would have never have known that a solar flare, at that point anyway, if you lived back in those days, could do that. Or we could expect those kinds of conditions at Earth. What am I talking about? We had handsets from the telegraph people that were doing the telegraph, the switchboard workers and stuff, catching on fire. Telegraphs getting sent through the air without wires. I mean, okay? That's the kind of, hit we took back in 1859. And that's why everybody goes back to it. Not to mention that was such a highly studied event that this is when we discovered that a CME and a flare are two different things. Right? Now, I have to say, the sunspot, and I already pointed this out, the sunspot that gave us basically the sunspot, it was more than just that one sunspot, but it looked very physically, visually, looked just like the sunspot we just had. So the Carrington sunspot and the one we just had, they were very similar in the way that they look. Hey, Haley, good to see you, bud. So when I'm talking about this, everybody goes straight back to 1859, as well as they should. It's a good starting point. But we can't forget the other events. Okay? I mean, we can go back to 1989, the Canadian event, where we had the grid down up there. 2003 Halloween event. So many things going on with that. Right? And so many other events. Right? 2017 during solar minimum. Well, was it solar minimum then? We were not in a very active, let's just do this. Hold on a minute. Yeah, we were heading into solar maximum, right? Or heading into the new sun cycle. The termination event hadn't happened, it doesn't look like. If you look here, you can see the percentage of days that we had no sunspots facing Earth. Okay, so 28% of the days in 2017, 104 days, there were no sunspots facing Earth. Okay? The parts of the graph that you see here that we were actually headed down. That's the downtrend. That's right. I remember now. When you see 0 here, that's solar maximum, basically, conditions. That means that we've seen sunspots facing Earth every day that year. Okay? And so when we were starting to go up here, and then you see right here, 77% of the days in 2019, we had no sunspots facing Earth at all. 281 days out of the 365 that we have, there were no sunspots. That, then we get the polarity flip and stuff on the sun. New sun cycle starts, and we start ramping back up to where we're at now. Same thing happens here. So we were actually working our way towards solar minimum in 2017. That happened in September. Okay? I think it was September 9th or 10th. You know what? I can show it to you. How about that? Let me show it to you. Let's go. I'll just do this. Watch this. Beacon home. Goodness. Actually, let's do this. There we go. Guys, if you guys go here to Soho, or Seeds, I'm sorry, and you click these are actually links. Okay, up here. Hit LASCO. And if you hit LASCO, you can go down to the year. We'll go to 2017, and I know that it happened in September, so we click that. And I believe it was the 9th and 10th. We'll start here on the 8th and see what we see. Right? Now, I want to point this out because what you're going to see here, you see this little bit of a radiation storm that we're seeing? You remember what we seen with this one, with ours? When it just happened? Yeah, we seen snow like that, but I'm going to show you something here in a second that is way more than what we got, right? So, check this out. I think it's here. Okay, you guys seeing that? Right? I'm going to pause it. Okay, what happened there, right? We had a big eruption over there. It crossed our magnetic field line. We're connected to the sun like I've been talking about. And all them protons is shoveled right back to us. But do you guys see how much more intense this is than what we just got? Okay? Now, I understand that we didn't get hit with this, right? Now, I'm making a point here, okay? So let me do this. Let's go back here. I'm going to go back actually up here. We're going to go back to 2003. The Halloween event. All right? 2003, we had a massive hit, okay? Look at that, guys. Now, I'm going to make a point here in just a second. I'm going to go to the previous day because I want you to see the actual eruptions. Okay? I think it started here on the 28th. Yeah. That's when the eruption happened. I'm going to pause it. Okay, this is a true halo, guys. Watch this. I know a lot of you guys probably have never seen this. Okay, so let me show it to you. This thing is amazingly, like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? You know, everybody's butt puckered when they seen this one, I promise. Because this is something that could cause big issues. And we did see issues from this. But I'm going to make a point here in a second. Okay, see, number one, see how fast that's moving? So at 10:54, it started behind this occulter disc, right? 11:06, 10:54 to 11:06 is what? 12 minutes. So every 12 minutes we're getting an image. And then that. Well, that was a 20-minute jump there. A lot of times you see that because the camera don't know how to process such an intense wham initial hit. Sometimes they go into safe mode, and you know, that has to happen sometimes, or the satellites will die and just not be up there. Okay, but this is 2003. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here, guys, is the fact that this thing is much more intense with what we just got hit with. This thing is huge. This was a big event. Okay, I don't know that we've had a bigger event show up on Soho, because we only go back to 1996, I believe. We didn't quite make it back to 1989 with this satellite. It wasn't up there yet. Okay? But you see how directly centered this was? This, you know, this is a true, check this halo out. I mean, come on. Everybody was probably hoping when they seen this that this was going off the backside. But we know that it didn't. So we got hit with that head on. A lot of things happened. I'm not going to go into exactly what did happen. But what I can tell you is this. Look at that. Okay? First off, we did not see this with what we just got hit with. You guys have all seen this before. I've been showing it to you. Right? My biggest... and I hate to go here with this. I'm not trying to... And I'm still... greatly undecided on where I fall in this discussion. When you get hit with something like this and you don't see or have any reports of Aurora down this far, we broke a record with this, guys. We've never had an Aurora report down that far. Now let me kind of talk a little bit more about that for 1 second. Okay? First off, this was the storm we got hit with was in no way, shape, or form looked like that. Okay? Wasn't even close. This wasn't, what we got hit with was an X3. I think this one was an X45, if I'm correct. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it was. Okay? So, there's the difference in the flare range. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's how strong the CME was, but it does point to, hey, the CMEs should be stronger, right, with the bigger flare. Better chance of that anyway. So we come back here, and yeah. So during the X3, a CME associated with the X3 flare hits us, and we see this report from New Caledonia, right around the 17-degree latitude line. I think. Hold on a minute. 26.4, okay, was the... Yeah, 26.4 was the latitude line. What that means is it's very close to the equator, okay? That's what we call equatorial latitudes, all right? Most of us live in mid-latitudes. Low latitudes is down closer to the equator, obviously. High latitudes are towards the poles. You got to pretend you're on the equator and you're looking north and south. That's how the things go, right? But with us seeing this, my first question was, well, we all got cell phones now, right? There's more people on the planet. Now, you guys going to have to hear me out on this, okay? Because this is simply just my opinion. I'm going to give it to you right now. So the fact that everybody has cameras, number one, is going to tell you that, hey, there's a chance that we're going to see more because people are grabbing their phones all the time, right? They carry them with them. Communications is so much more great. Number two, there's just simply more people here on the planet, but that cuts both ways. And let me explain. The opposite end of what I'm talking about here is because there's more people, because development on our planet has progressed, we have a greatly increase in light pollution. You can test that yourself. If you live in the country, go find you a dark spot out in the country. Anybody went and looked for Aurora this last time? You're trying to find the darkest spot, right? That's why, so you can see more. Anybody that's ever tried to take a picture of the sky at night and there was a full moon, they know that causes issues. Why? Because it adds light. But from your perspective, here on our planet, you can test this yourself. Just go out in the country somewhere, look up, just turn your phone light on, right? And set it on the car, pointing up a little bit, right? And look up and take notice of roughly how many stars you see. And then shut that light off, wait about 30 seconds, wait for your eyes to adjust, and look up again and see how many stars you see. You will see way more when that light is turned off. So because we got more people on the planet, more development, we got way more light pollution. That's what I'm talking about. But on the other end of it, we also have, everybody has these phones, right? Everybody can go up and look. Everybody can report these things now, which isn't the way that it used to be. So that's both sides, guys. Okay? At the end of the day, that's where the argument's being talked about. Either you're on this side or that side. I can promise you right now that there's not going to be anybody that's going to be willing to compromise their position on this. Okay? And that's why I'm here talking to you guys, because I'm giving you guys both sides of it. And that's what I want you guys to hear. It doesn't matter what I believe on this at all. At all. What matters is you guys now have the information. You guys can go look at this for yourself. And the other thing I forgot to mention, guys, this here, that's a naked eye observation. No phone needed. Okay? So that does put a tick on the other side. But again, we got more light. There's so many things to consider here. When we see these things like this, and this didn't even, I have a hard time with this, guys. I don't want to put my opinion out there in a way that's going to make somebody, believe something they didn't believe before because of my opinion. Now, if you look at the data and you change your mind, that's a different thing. Okay? So that is what I'm talking about. Okay? So with that being said, I want to do this too. All right? I want to show a couple of Ricky's pictures, okay? The Aurora photography she got from Colorado. I think Ricky's in here. At least she was. Let me see if I can't find that. I need to find that folder. I think it's right here. Nope, that ain't it. Where the heck did that folder go? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Oh, I named it that. Okay. Hold on. I named it something. I forgot I named it something like that. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. Why is that folder not showing up? Ricky, I actually named the folder after you. So, anyway, what the heck, man? Maybe it's because it's in a jump drive. Hold on. That ain't it. All right, hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. what we'll do though, guys, is I'm going to take you here, and I'm going to let you guys watch this storm while I pull this up. I hate dead air. So let me just hit that direction and start. This is the 2003 solar storm, okay? So hold on one second here. Man. Okay, I'm getting a couple here for you, Ricky. I want to show a couple of hers. I probably won't show them all, but I'll show the rest of them in my next live stream. Okay, so I think I can get it done now. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I tried to have that set up, and because of what was happening, I couldn't get it set up in time. So let me find it. Here they are. Here's one. Let me show it to you. Hold on. Here we go. That's from Colorado, guys. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, Ricky, thank you for sending those to me. That's awesome stuff, guys. So, that's what I'll say on that. Now, let me do this. I'm going to show one more for Ricky here. I think it's a different one. It may not be, but we're going to see. I'm sorry, I really had this all set up earlier, and it's something, I don't even know what the heck happened. So, let's go ahead and... Okay, that would be the one that's showing now. Okay, here, this is a different one. Oops. Okay, so, here we go. Here's another one. Just really cool stuff. Ricky, thank you for sending those over. They're just awesome stuff. So, with that being said, guys, I don't know what else to say. I understand that we're going to have a lot of people on both sides of this. One thing I can tell you, I will not participate in argument and drama. It's already happening everywhere. I'm not going to do that here. So if you guys just want the information and the data and what's actually happened, and I don't force my opinion on you, come here. That's what you're going to get here. I'm nowcasting. That's it. I'm going to show you the conditions. I'm going to show you what's going on. I'm going to give you both sides of it, and that's what you just seen. So I hope that you guys can understand that. Now, I also want to point something else out here that I noticed. And this was true for all three of the solar events I just talked about, guys. So let me transfer you back over to that. Okay, this is the 2003 storm. Watch what comes in from the bottom right. Hold on. Actually, I'll just go back the other way with it. Okay, so let me reverse that. I'm going to, hold on. Okay, so now, if I go forward, now watch what happens down here. If you look real close right here, and I'm going to back it up, you see that? That's a sun diver, right? What just happened right before the another eruption? I think it was on the 12th on our sun. A sun diver, basically the same position. Okay, so check that out. That happened right before this big eruption. Now, I'm not saying that caused this. What I'm saying is it could have been part of why. Okay? Magnetics happen. Magnetics are around comets. Magnetics are around asteroids. All this stuff is happening. Sun divers have been historically known and can induce or instigate CMEs in that direction. Are they the only cause for that particular CME? Probably not. Okay? But it is one of those things. It's like space weather when we're talking about earthquakes. It's just a part of the formula. It's not the whole thing. Okay? So we did see a sun diver here. This is back in 2003. And also, I seen a comment. They said, "Hey, did that comet cause a shadow not in the way that you think it did. Okay? This is just an anomaly from the difference imaging. Okay? You don't see a shadow over here on the red. The way that this image is taken and the technical stuff behind it is why that happens. Okay? I've kind of went into that before, but I haven't talked about it in a while. So if that was you that left that comment asking that question, there's your answer. It's the difference imaging you see. It's basically a ghosting image. You will see the same thing happen with CMEs. You'll see a shape of a CME, then the next image where the CME moves out further. If you look right behind that right there, you'll almost every time you'll see a ghost image. Okay? I don't want to say every time, but you see it often. Okay? That's a ghost image. It's not a true shadow. And so watch what happens when I go forward. This one's probably going to stay in the same position. Okay, there it did that time. Watch. So we go forward one. Now watch the shadow. It ain't going to move this next time, but the comet itself will. See that? That is a ghost image on the camera. So I just wanted to point that out. But anyway, guys, yeah. So again, I'm going to continue to do this. This is how I do my thing here, guys. I will not participate in any arguments. I don't do that kind of thing here, and I hope you guys can respect that. I really do. I really do hope you guys can. Let me go back here. But I do want to show you, this is what's happening right now. Okay? Also, we got planetary alignments happening. I think that this is, I can't remember if this one's Jupiter or Venus. We got two planets coming in view. Let me show that to you. Oh, well, check this out. See that? That's latest observed. We actually had dropped all the way out of geomagnetic storm. Now we're back in it. Anyway, this is LASCO C3. This is a zoomed out version of this. So you're not going to see the planet on the right. Sorry. Yeah. So you're not going to see that. That is a planet. I'm not sure if that's Venus or Jupiter, but we're both going to come into conjunction. Jupiter is actually, I think it's, I forget what the name that they use for that, but it is like directly across 180 from us in the solar system right now. So these planetary alignments mean things, okay? That means that we probably will see an uptick in CMEs, probably in that direction. Don't forget that most people think, and there's a lot of good stuff here. Oh, hey, that last eruption showed up. Watch. Hey, there we go. I'm glad I stuck around here. Check it out. That's that X flare. Okay? Now, it stopped right there because we don't have any other imaging. Okay? So, what I can do, though, is this. Let's do this real quick. A lot of times, if you go over here to ISWA, you'll get more imaging. And this right here proves it. You get more real time. You see, we got about another hour and a half of images. So let me, I'll just run that here. And I'm going to pause it. See how that's showing up there? This is the same satellite, guys. Just on a different website. So, yeah. So, yeah, it definitely did. Now, there could be an Earth-directed component, but it doesn't look like at this point that it's going to be a direct hit or anything. It doesn't mean we can't see stuff from it. But, yeah, so there's that. Now, again, guys, unexpected, unforecasted geomagnetic storm happened. Aurora broke records last year, and many times as far south, low latitude reports. In 2023, we broke that record of how many times that happened. We broke another record during this storm, during a I have a hard time thinking we really should have seen all this stuff on a level of an event like we've seen. Okay? And it's just my opinion. That part of it is. But I'm not, I'm not all the way on one side or the other. I'm like you guys. I am just looking at the data with you. Okay? Yes, I have my leanings just like you guys do too. Okay? But I'm not here to push that off on the people. And I'm not going to. In my members only stuff, guys, I might share a little bit more on those kinds, but I don't want this to be here on my main part of my channel to become any kind of arguments. That's not what I'm here for. I just want you guys to see the data and to see what's actually happening, and I'm going to show it to you the best I can. And I hope that can be respected. And let me say this too, guys. As often as I've been here on the internet, for as long as I have been, I usually keep my mouth shut pretty much all the time when it comes to arguing with people. I've never once used anybody's name, I don't think. There was one time because he was in the chat and he was attacking other people and me. That's the only time. I did it live right there. It ain't like I went and made a video. I did it right there on a live stream. And it's not, we don't need to know who that is either. That's not why I'm saying it. But do not mistake my patience and the level of quietness that I use, right? That I don't say much, as a weakness. Don't look at that like that. Because I promise you, if there is ever a time that I need to, at any point in time, say things, I will make sure that person gets my point and gets it really, really in their face kind of thing. It's harder for me, guys. Listen, it's a struggle for me to keep my mouth shut. I'll just put it to you that way. It would be much easier. It takes a stronger person to keep their mouth shut than it does is to start blowing off. Okay? And believe me, there's a lot of stuff I could blow off about. But I don't. And I won't. That is my promise to you guys, because that's not what we're here for. Okay? So there's all your data. But please don't mistake my quietness for weakness. And I'm not talking really to the subscribers. I'm talking more so to other people that want to attack, as far as channels and things like that. Because it happens. I mean, it happens in every genre of content on YouTube. But anyway, hopefully you guys got something out of this video. If you did, please leave me a like. Come back, leave a comment. I'm going to be giving away cards on Monday probably. I know it's got pushed back like almost 2 weeks now. But I want to make sure that the way that I did it over on my members only stream is going to work before I do it the same way here. So we'll know more of that on Monday. I may even come on Monday and give away cards that day. But with that being said, if you do win cards, you're going to have to give me somewhere to send them. So you'll have to email me. That's all I'm saying. We'll cross that bridge when it's happening. But they're really cool cards. I showed them to my members yesterday. I showed them here before. But if you want a chance of winning those, mods, if there's any mods still here that could put the link to that video, come back and leave a comment under that video. Do me a huge favor. Come back to this video when I end the live stream. Leave me a comment, even if it's a couple emojis. Say, hey, Wages, I hate your guts. Hey, Wages, you're the best thing that ever since sliced bread. Hey, Wages, you're ugly. Hey, Wages, you should be in movies. Whatever. I don't care what it is. Just leave me a comment. Okay? So, anyway, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And, as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.